Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. And a lot of times I get questions from folks saying, Ryan, can I actually make money from something that I'm good at, something I'm talented at, something I'm passionate about? And guys, the answer is a resounding yes. And here on this episode, we're going to dive right into that. And I have Jenni Hunt back with me. Yes, 2 times in a row. It's because we do so much together, and she's a wealth of wisdom in this area of how to take your passion, find your passion. If you're not sure what your passion is, we'll dive into that. Also, then how to take that and find opportunity online, because opportunity is out there. And if you're listening right now and you just need to make money very quickly, well, we talk about that as well at the beginning of this episode. All right, guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. And guess what? We have the same guest 2 weeks in a row, Jenni Hunt. Thanks for being on with me again.
My pleasure. I love
I'm
it.
I'm just going to quit, and this is going to be your podcast.
No.
You're on so much. Guys, the reason that is because she's brilliant, but also is we work a lot together. We have things together. She's my friend, business partner. And so obviously when I think about what we're going through, some of the answers to these questions, well, she's the one that helps me think through these things, and then we actually teach them. Mm-hmm. And so it's natural just to ask her to hop on with me. So thanks for doing that.
My pleasure. Lots of fun.
Again.
Enjoy it.
So Jenni, a lot's happened even since last week when we were on. Things are getting crazier. And I know that you and I have both heard some, very, tough things that are going on with our students. Some people are killing it on Amazon, having, great success because they're selling the things that people are buying. There's some that are struggling more. And there's some folks that may not even be students necessarily, but they've lost their jobs and they're just going through some really hard times, and some of that being financially. And now they're looking to online, and now they're searching out seriously how they can earn an income online. And I believe you and I have the answer to that. We've been teaching this for a long time, and it's just our honor to serve folks in this way. And we want to get the word out that it is possible. And today, Jenni, I wanted to talk about specifically turning your passion into an income, like how to, I guess you named this a good topic, or a good title for this, how to pivot during a pandemic. Mm-hmm. But some people might want to turn something that they're passionate about into an income. But before we go there, let's chat about, just brainstorm some quick ways that if somebody's like, yeah, I would love to do that, but gosh, I need to put food on my table yesterday. Right. What are some things that if you were, go back to when you were in that position, what did you do? Is that something that folks could do today? Or what are some other things that come to mind kind of quickly?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because of course, you asked, what did I do? I'm thinking, well, I went to garage sales and I found things and I resold them. And, we have a bunch of things in our entry actually that are waiting to work their way to be donated somewhere. And there's no place that's going to take them right now. Right. So that's not really the same. The opportunities are different. Yeah. And I think you nailed it in just that there's still lots of opportunity out there, and we want to bring hope. And one of the things that, Ryan, I know you love to do this, we love to do this together, is brainstorm and figure out, okay, this is not a stop to things, it means pivot. And so what does that look like? And so things that for quick money right now, there's still there's still needs. So that really looking at what is needed right now, and then how can I fill it? So what are the needs? I think one thing you mentioned right before we got on the call was like mowing lawns. It's sunny here in Northwest, and so I can hear lawnmowers all day, but that just getting out there and doing those old school things are valuable. They're really valuable right now. And so there's opportunity there. One thing that came to mind was a couple weeks ago. It feels like a year ago, but it was probably like 5 days ago. Someone shared with me a flyer or a postcard that was circling around on social media. And basically it said, hey, I live here and I am available to run errands for you. If something's broken and you need a handyman, or, you know, whatever you need, if you want to call and just chat, here's my number. And they basically just went to their neighborhood and passed out these postcards. And I thought that's brilliant, because a lot of, we are supposed to be staying home, but how can we be in community? And I think that really that's kind of the answer. Looking at how you can serve other people and what the needs are is going to show you where opportunities are to make money even right now or for yesterday. So,
just thought of something. You said you had a bunch of stuff that's getting ready to be donated. What if, and I know you might want to get a tax credit for this, but if you had a neighbor that posted, let's say on Facebook, saying, you know what, guys, I'll be honest, I'm struggling right now. I just lost my job. I'm willing to pick up stuff, because there's a lot of people out doing spring cleaning right now in their house, and they're trying to get rid of things. And maybe they'd rather have goodwill, and that's nothing wrong with that, or donate it to a worthy cause. Right. But I bet there'd be a lot of people that would be glad to have a neighbor who's struggling, even somebody they don't know, come and pick up that stuff. You just put it on your porch and don't have to have contact with them. You don't have to even talk to them other than online, and have that person who's needing income come pick it up and sell it online. You could sell it on eBay. I know people right now are killing it on eBay in our Legends group. And so guys, there is you said it perfectly, is that where's the needs? There's a lot of people that are home and not doing anything. And I've seen posts on Instagram where they're rearranging their house and getting rid of old stuff. Well, what are they going to do with that? And just, I know a lot of people would be happy to have you come and take that. Even if you said, hey, I'll give you money for it. You know, you pay $50 for something that's worth $500 and you go flip it. You could flip it on eBay. There's a site called Mercari, Mercari. Of course, there's Facebook Marketplace. Guys, you could buy off of Facebook Marketplace, flip it back onto Facebook Marketplace. There is opportunity. So.
There is. And I imagine some people are thinking this, the only consideration is some people are leery of getting used items and having to deal with they're scared of the virus and all of that. And so, you know, be sensitive in doing that and offering whatever, but that's a great idea. In fact, maybe we'll do that just to get the stuff moving out of our house. You know, hey, free, come and get it. And I'll even encourage you to flip it on Facebook or wherever. It doesn't matter to me what they do with it. But that's a good model too. Yeah.
Oh. Well, guys, we could talk all day about different ways to make money now. And if I put together 50 different ways to make some quick income, it's just called the Streams of Side Hustle Income. It's a short download. It's 50 some pages, and love to get that too. You just go to streamsofIncomeRadio.com and you can get a copy of that. Okay. So Jenni, let's say for somebody who is they're not quite in that dire of a situation, but for a long time they've been thinking, gosh, I am really good at this or that, or maybe they don't know exactly what that is. Let's say the person who is, I would love to make money with something that I'm passionate about, but I'm not really sure what my passion is. You and I talk a lot about that in our groups. How would you tell somebody to figure out what their passion is?
Yeah, so that's a fun thing to talk about, right? And a lot of people, they want to know what their passion is, which is interesting that we don't know that about ourselves, but I bet you do. There's clues, right? So if you're on Facebook at all, what groups are you a part of? Where are you already? Where do you tend to, migrate to? What groups are you a part of? What are you attracted to? What magazines do you like to pick up, or books do you like to go through when you go to the bookstore? What are you interested in? What are your interests? And I guarantee if you're not in Facebook groups, there is probably 99% chance that there is a Facebook group around what you're passionate about. Now we've seen some strange things that we're like, what is that? They're not well known. And there's even groups for those things. So, I'm sure that there's a Facebook group of some sort.
How many people are in that, the one Instant Pot group that you found.
Yeah, there were almost 2 million people and that's just one. There's more than one Instapot group. I'm always blown away by, and there's another one. It was a lot of people, like, I don't know, 500,000 or something. And it was all about making things from items you purchase at the dollar store.
Wow.
It's just insane. So
Yeah.
whatever your hobby is, or and maybe it's just something that's fun for you. It doesn't even have to be this soul searching passion.
Right.
It can just be something lighthearted, like turning, build crafts out of items from the dollar store, or Instant Pot recipes. But find those people, find where are you, what are you interested in, and step into that. And I highly recommend stepping into that on Facebook. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook. They're, you either love it or hate it, kind of a thing. But I'm telling you right now, I read, I've gotten different numbers, but between 50 to 70% more people are online now in the last month than ever before. Overnight, our world turned virtual.
Right.
And that's where people are hanging out. Those groups are growing. So get in there and then just start paying attention in there. And if there's a group that has engagement, where there's a lot of movement, people are posting regularly, and it's around, like the Instant Pot one, it has 2 million people. I'm sure it has probably hundreds of posts a day. That's very, very engaging. But even something that has like 5 posts a day, that will give you an idea that there's other interests there too. It's not just, you're not the only one that's interested in, whatever your thing is, but that's where I would
that's good. We live in such a crazy, well, not crazy, it is crazy, but it's crazy good in this way that, rewind 25 years ago, if you were interested in, you had a passion for, wouldn't have been an Instapot then, but a crock pot recipe.
Right.
Well, how are you going to find people that are interested in crock pots? Maybe you go to church and start asking around. I mean, how do you find all those people that, let's say that I came up with a crock pot recipe book and I'm really good at creating recipes in my crock pot. How would you get that word out so quickly then? Much, much harder than it is today. And we say that, now is the best time in the history of the world to be an entrepreneur. You can turn about anything, any passion, any knowledge into a stream of income.
Anything. I mean, right now I'm kind of on this kick with puzzles, like not puzzles that you sit down at a table, but even I've shared a couple on my Facebook profile of just like these riddles, just to get people, connecting. But there are groups on Facebook that's all people post in there are riddles, and and that's an audience. You go find groups of people like that, and you'll be able to figure out how to serve them. So.
Okay, real quick. I know we're going to get into the end about how you would start. Yeah. Okay, but let's say the person that's sitting here listening only has a few more minutes to listen. How would you? Let's say you loved the puzzles like that. How would you turn that? What's one? There's probably 50 ideas, but what's one idea to turn that into a stream of income?
Okay, so right off the bat, my first thought is I don't know. And so because I don't know, I would go in there and I would just start listening to the group. I would start engaging and the answers would come up. I'd start seeing things. But then, give me a couple seconds to think about it. And now I'm thinking, okay, those could be like those riddles. You could take the same idea. You'd have to look at copyrights. You could put them into a KDP book.
There you go. I figured that's one you would say.
Self-publish a book all about riddles or something like that, or have a download that, and start building a mailing list around.
Absolutely. Guys, listen to, this is episode number 35. If you listen to episode 34, Jenni was on again. We were talking about Kindle Direct Publishing. But before you get all freaked out about that, this is something, you don't have to be a writer. You could, she talks about low or no content books, meaning, it could be like a journal. A riddle, I would say, is pretty low. It would be no content. It would be low content. And it's probably something you maybe could find, either come up with you on your own or using what we call private label rights. There might even be PLR content for that is already written, that essentially you can claim as your own and put into a book and sell and make money on it.
Yes, you have to be very careful with that. So Amazon does not like PLR. So you kind of went down a little road. You have to be careful. There's some strategy where you can use that to inspire you, and mix and match and kind of compile So you have a unique product. But yeah, that is definitely a strategy, a way to go. But yeah, that's what I would do is just get in there, mainly get in there and listen. It doesn't take long. When you start answering questions or engaging with people in a group, they will start asking you questions too. And when you start seeing the same questions being asked, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm answering this over and over, and I could actually go deeper with my answer. And maybe that turns into some sort of way I can serve these people better and
I love
charge for
it. So good. That kind of goes into our next thing to kind of get into. But one quick thing I was want to say, if you are struggling with this whole, what is my passion? What am I good at? Ask somebody else. And I've heard my friend Brian Dixon said, and he probably heard it from somebody else, but we cannot read our own label. So imagine yourself inside a jar of peanut butter, or maybe, and you're trying to figure out what are the ingredients. You can't see the ingredients from the inside. You have to get outside. So ask somebody, ask your spouse, your friends, your family, what am I good at? Because if you're good at it, it probably comes so easy to you that you overlook it and you don't think that could be something that you could make money from because everybody's good at it. Well, no, they're not. You have been blessed with that unique talent, that unique skill. And so just ask, they'll tell you. People know you better sometimes than you even know yourself. In this instance, it's very easy to overlook what you're good at and think that it's not something that's special that could become a stream of income, but it could.
And another thing you say, Ryan, a lot is, what do you always talk about? What is it you could talk about for hours?
Yeah.
And or what could you even talk about for 20 or 30 minutes without any notes or prep? What do you hold? That's information that you're holding on to, and because you value it for some reason. And I think as you get involved in community and in groups where you're answering questions, that's the same kind of thing as asking people, what am I good at, in a way, because all of a sudden people as you share this is how I do this, people will be like, are you kidding me? I had no idea you could do that. And you're like, really? Because I do it all the time. I didn't think it was a big deal. But when people start responding to what you're sharing, that's really good feedback for you to know, oh, wow, I thought everybody knew this, and that's an opportunity for you.
Absolutely is. What do people always ask you? What do they ask your advice about? Those are all little clues that tell you that's your thing. Okay, so they found what they're passionate about, or maybe there's people already that have already know exactly what they want to do, what they're passionate about. How do you know that can be monetized? I mean, maybe that it's something like 16th century art with some special, unique method. How do they know if they're the only? How do they know if they're not the? How do they know they might be the only person in the world that's interested in that? How do you find that out? We kind of already went down there a little bit.
Yeah, well, I would say, if there's an audience already for that, then there's other people interested in it. And so Facebook, again, is a really good cue. If there's a magazine out about that, then there's probably an audience for that.
Yep.
So just do a little bit of research and see if is there a blog about that where there's actually comments? It's not just somebody just sharing their thoughts. So it's not a one-way conversation. Then, there's probably an audience around that. Is there a book published, and is that, how well known is that author? Are there good reviews on that book on Amazon? Let that information tell you whether or not other people are interested in that as well. So that will help you determine whether there's money to be made. But, you still might be wondering, how in the world am I going to make money?
Sure. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second as far as what you could do to actually get started. So would you actually, you would go into Facebook, right? And get the top of there's a search bar in Facebook, and you would type in your topic. So we mentioned the art thing, but I guess.
Should we look for 16th century art?
So 16th century art. I mean, literally, guys, if that's your topic, and I have a feeling Jenny's doing it right now, you would go into Facebook and start typing it at the top, as if you were looking for a friend and you're typing your friend's name in there. You type in this, and there's a way you can search by page, or you can click on groups, and you want to click on groups because you want to find groups that are associated with whatever your topic is. And then Jenny, you mentioned on a webinar we did recently how to determine engagement. Like there's a sweet spot even with this, like that Instapot group that has 2 million people in it. That's great. That might be too much, might be hard to keep up with. I don't remember what your numbers were as far as the number of posts per day.
Right. Okay. So when you go in to Facebook and you type in, just so you know, there is not a group for 16th century.
Oh no.
There is for 16th century clothing and other things. But anyway, if you go into Facebook and you search on that top search bar and you hit enter, and then across the top you hit groups, and it'll show you groups around whatever it is you searched. When it lists those groups out, so it gives me like mid-century modern is one of the results that comes up. And it will say that's the first group that, I don't know if it's the first one. No, it's not. It's one. Okay. 16th and 17th century clothing is the first group that comes up when I search 16th century art under groups on Facebook. And it says in that posting about it, says there's 8 posts a day. The next one down, it's something else, Art Deco and some other stuff. It has 2.8 thousand posts a day.
Whoa.
That's insane. The next one after that is 620. My gauge is 5 posts a day. If there's 5 posts a day in there, then I think that there's some engagement. Now, you kept going back to the Instant Pot group, which has 2 million people in that. They have probably a ton of posts per day. I'm not so concerned about how large the group is as much as I am as how many posts a day, what the engagement's like in there. Yeah. I do think I would probably look for a group that has at least 300 to 500 people in it. Because there can be a group of 10 and they're really engaged and they're always posting, but you do want to have a bit of an audience there. So I would say 300 to 500. It's kind of my gut just saying that. So, but then I'd look at for 5 posts a day within.
Sure. And there's also a trick, guys, that you can do is, so let's say you clicked on that, the clothing one, there will be then a lot of times Facebook will give you suggested groups. So you usually groups are probably always aren't going to be ones that you can join immediately. You might have to request to join. It's not usually, most of them aren't what we call open, but then you click on it anyway. And then on the right-hand side of the page, there'll be other groups that are essentially Facebook saying, hey, you clicked on this, so you might be interested in these groups. Some of them are spot on, some of them are not, but those give you other groups to look at and just check into and see how many posts per day there are, how many members there are.
Yeah, that's really good, because when you first do a search, it doesn't give you, it's not all inclusive. There's so many groups on Facebook, but even like if you go into the groups you're already a part of that are around what you're interested in, and on the sidebar, it will give you suggested groups as well. Facebook does that all the time. It gives you suggestions based on what you're already doing. So that's a good place to start too, if you're kind of wondering, what area you're looking to move into. Look and see what they're suggesting.
Jenny, you just came out with a podcast. Congratulations, by the way. It's called Sweet Spot Revenue. Guys, go check that out. She is doing, it's essentially her book. She's narrating it with commentary. It's really, really good. And okay, so let's take that as an example. Let's say that you want to, let's say you had a course associated with that. You kind of do with some of the stuff we're doing together, but you find a group that might be, essentially you're going to find your audience. And who are the people looking for what I have to offer? Guys, it doesn't matter whether you're Jenny and you're trying to teach people how to make money online, or if you are a chef and you have awesome recipes for the Instapot. You are looking for your people, you find them. So you do the strategy we just mentioned, which is go into Facebook. There are other online forums too you can check other than Facebook, but Facebook's where millions of people already are. So you might as well at least start there. Do a search, find some groups that match, that you think would have your ideal person. Okay. So then what do you do?
Then you get involved. So so we kind of have this thing we talk about: serve, engage, grow, right? So the serving, you get involved, you get in there and you start serving. You start, I think that it's better to comment than to actually start a post.
I agree.
So you could go in and post questions. There are some people who are teaching that that's how you build engagement. Go in and there's templates for, quick questions to get people to answer and respond. You could do that. I've seen a lot better engagement. And by that, I mean, they're more invested in the conversation when I'm responding to a post rather than starting a post and trying to respond to the people. Then it seems like I have an agenda. So having people, when going through and just looking, what are people talking about? What are they asking about? And if I'm already interested in that, I might have some answers and some way, to some input. So I did this. This was where I kind of stumbled on this and realized this needs to be talked about because I'm doing this and it's working. But I joined a group that had 300,000 people in it. It was my audience. It was my people who, most of them, not all of them, but people who would be interested in what I have to say and I have to offer. And so I went in there and I was somebody asked about self-publishing, which is what Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, that is. And I answered and I said, hey, I gave myself some credibility so that they knew that I had a bit of an authority on the topic, but I wasn't selling anything. I just went in and I said, hey, you know what? Yeah, I teach, I forget what the question was exactly, but it was just related to how, has anybody self-published? How do you know what to do or what to publish about? And I said, I teach a class with my 17-year-old daughter. We've been doing it for about a year and a half. And what we teach is, and I just laid it out. I said, we talk about validating and how to figure out what people are wanting in books.
Right.
And
no links to your course or anything.
No links to the course. I even said how I did that. We use the 3 R's. We look at reviews, we look at rank, we look at, and I explained it. And that's really all I did. And I said, so I gave valuable information. I basically gave what we teach in a little tiny, a comment.
Right.
And that I said, I'm happy to help. However, let me know if you have any other questions. That was it. And I got like 30 to 50 private messages saying, and also more questions. Oh, I want to know more. Or, do you have any more? Do you have a course on this? Do you have any information?
Yeah.
And so then, you got to stick with the rules of the group. So it can be a little sticky. In that particular group, you're not allowed to go and private message people without them asking for it. So as long as they were asking me to private message them with more information, I was fine going and.
So how'd you answer that question? Now, this is good because most groups are probably about the same. Most of them do not have self-promotion in there. So when they say, do you have a course on that? What's your answer?
Sometimes I will ask them, I'll say, you can private message me and ask me.
Okay.
And I'll let you know. So I'm inviting them to message me or, it kind of depends on the rules and how the
every group is
worded.
Different.
But I I really want to honor the rules, but what do? They're asking you for more information. Most people won't ask on the thread. They'll actually private message you. Right. And so you need to look in your other folder thing on
Oh, great tip. Great tip. You guys will miss Facebook messages from people. If they're not your friends already, it's probably going to go to, not probably, it does, right? Every time, pretty much, I think.
I think so.
It goes to your other message. Let's look it up.
Message requests.
It's called message requests under Facebook Messenger. And it's where people who aren't your friends on Facebook, their private messages to you will go.
Yes.
So got to check that if you're doing this strategy.
Absolutely.
So would you also, let's say you're getting a lot of questions like this, you're a lot of, direct messages. At some point, would you ever go to the admin of the group and say, hey, just wanted to let you know what's going on here. Tons of people are asking me questions about this. At what point would you go to them and say, hey, maybe we should talk about some type of thing in the group? I know we probably could get you ask 5 different people and get 5 different answers on this.
Yeah, I think I haven't done that in this group. I'm not real comfortable doing that yet. So you kind of, I think, need to feel that out. Just what's the culture like in the group? In my own groups, if somebody came to me and I knew it was a topic and I saw that person like going in and giving away valuable content, then it's a no-brainer to me to go, hey, let's do a live webinar in the group. Would love to have you on. So I would imagine that's how most admins would respond if I went to them and said, I know this isn't the main topic of your group, but it is coming up. People are asking about self-publishing and, I've taught this class, be happy to do a free webinar, just to help educate people and understand that this is an option. And if we do a promotion, split it 50-50 or, whatever you want to do, I'm happy to serve in that way. That's it. So,
Love it.
but most people have come, I haven't really gotten that far in other groups where I've felt, I'm trying to think if that's really true. I mean, I have, but by the time I get to the point where I'm asking them, I'm already friends with the people that are the admins. So it's not like a cold call type of a feeling. So it's really all about building those relationships, right? That's what it goes down to.
They're going to notice it. You're going to, like you said,
Absolutely.
if somebody in our group is going in there and providing free information, valuable information to our audience. It's not like, oh, they're poaching on our group. No. We're glad that they're doing that. We want them to do that. And yes, you and I are good at spotting opportunity. So we would probably message them before they'd ever message us.
Right.
And we'd be like, you know,
we don't even realize what they're,
we've done that here. We have.
We've even done that. We see people in the group and they're like, really? I have nothing. And we're like, no, you do. You have what you're saying is really, really valuable. And people don't realize it. So
that's fun about what we do, Jenni. I love being able to bring people up that that don't see what they have that's so special, but they've got some, they got some trick of selling on Amazon, or they've learned something or implement it in their business related to coaching, or a course that they've offered, and they just do it and they think, well, this is working, but everybody knows this. Well, no, they don't. And so it's been fun to be able to partner with those folks and create courses with them. And so super cool. So guys, definitely, if you could make this a cornerstone piece of your whole strategy. Get involved in Facebook groups, find the need, especially if it's a big group and it's engaged. You're going to get a lot of people that are asking you for your advice. And to go even one step further, we could do in fact, we do, and I'll show you guys how to get involved in a group that we have. It's a free Facebook group called Build Your Income Streams. We're going to do some free webinars in a couple weeks. But one other thing real quick to tell you is that then be prepared for those direct messages. Have something on your personal Facebook timeline. You don't have to go as far as to change your whole event, your whole Facebook cover to say that you're in business, but at least the about section, the bio section, you could have your website. You could set up a business Facebook page, and in that group, we show people how to do that. So that business Facebook page could be featured on your personal Facebook timeline, because people will start to stalk you. I know they did you, Jenni. I'm sure they did, because they have to if they're not friends of yours, they have to click on your name. When they click on your name, it goes to your personal Facebook timeline, and then that's where they click the message button to private message you. So I'm sure there's some that have hung out on that page a little bit, trying to, who is this person? Oh, she's married. She's got a family, and I can trust her. She looks legit. Oh, she's got a page and she's got a website. Let's go check that out. I'm sure your email list grew from doing that.
Yeah. And I don't, and what you'll get is a lot of friend requests actually. And you just need to know that up front, and then decide how you're going to, however you manage your Facebook is up to you. When I joined Facebook, I decided this is not for business. And now most of what I do is on Facebook, but my personal profile is not business related, hardly at all. So there's no reason for me to be friending all these people that I'm doing business with. It's just, that's just the way that I'm managing mine. It doesn't mean that's how you have to manage yours. You can segment your friends so you have business friends and, family, and however you want to do it. But so know that you will get a lot of friend requests from this too. But yeah, be prepared, because people will be looking to, the more value you bring in, the more they're going to want to be following you. And so honestly, as you were talking though, Ryan, I'm thinking, man, that sounds like a lot of work, and it isn't. And I just want to encourage your listeners that, honestly, I went into this group, and it was the first week that I was there, the group that had 300,000 people, where I just got involved right away. And it was one of my very first comments.
You can even search the group. Now, Facebook search is not the best, most sophisticated search in the world, but go to a group, and let's say that your topic is, like, you were in a group of women. I'm sure the topic, the group was more than about just business. It was all kinds of stuff, right?
No, it was entrepreneurs. It was women entrepreneurs.
You could take your topic and think, okay, if in one word, what would my thing be, and type that word in there, or think, if somebody was interested in learning about what I talk about, what would a question they ask be, and type, a couple words of that into the Facebook search
You
into
just
that
need the
group.
keyword. You don't even need to know the full question. So
Exactly.
if I wanted to talk more about an offer, like we're, doing a class right now on KDP, if I wanted to offer that and kind of lead up to that, make sure that people knew about it without promoting myself in there, then I might search for the self-publishing posts in that group and then go in and just answer questions.
Sure.
And they would go and find my thing.
You guys could find the majority of them that way, especially in a group that has
Right.
that many posts a day. You might want to do the search if you don't have time to scroll through the day's posts.
But even so, I mean, I'm talking 15 minutes. Get in there, 15 minutes, answer a couple, and then you're out of there. So it doesn't take much time. And it's also quick in the sense that, like I said, I had just joined the group. And this was one of my first times engaging with anybody in there. I didn't go in and introduce myself. I didn't go in and, nobody knew who I was in this group. And I just went in and started commenting. And I think I commented on a couple things and boom, it really does not have to take a long time. But then setting up, you do want to have a business page. Again, that can take you 5 minutes to set up. And you can have more than one business page on Facebook that's a business page. Do know that it is not easy to change your Facebook page name. But again, you can always start, do a new one. And then feature that in your bio on your personal timeline. But,
brilliant. Yeah, mine says taking care of business at ryanrieger.com. And people can go there and check out. And I have a lead magnet on there. And guys, lead magnet, that's something that we talk about. We just had it's a way to get an email address. And we could have a whole podcast episode just on that. But we just did a brainstorm call. We call it a hot seat with one of the members of our free group. It's called Build Your Income Streams. Build Your Streams of Income. We changed it a couple times. Build Your Streams of Income, free group. We just did a hot seat call that's recorded there where we talk about a lead magnet and things that you can do to start attracting those email addresses of the people that contact you. So definitely get into that group also, because we're going to be doing some free webinars. Everything in that, all the webinars in that group's free. It's a free group anyway. But we're going to start doing those, I think, the week of the 20th. So we want to show you we'll go deeper into the stuff, essentially, how to monetize your passion. We'll talk about the blueprint, the master plan of influence blueprint, which is essentially, things like ebook, podcasts, how to take this passion of yours and actually put it into practice, actually start creating an income. What does that look like? Is it a course? Is it a mastermind group? Is it live events? Well, it could be all the above, but where do you start? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. You know what? That group has been amazing. And I really had a lot of fun on that hot seat that we did. So it is, I just looked at it because we have changed the name a few times, Build Your Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger and Jenni Hunt. And there's a lot of good content in there for times such as these. We started that group, in January, late December, and had no idea what was coming. And I think that it really is for a time like now when people, and I was thinking too, right now, finances are either tight, and that's what's forcing you to pivot your job. Maybe you lost your job, or even if it's just temporary. So you might have a lot of free time right now to bring some of the things that you've put on your back burner forward. But you also, I'm finding, I'm assuming people have more free time, but I'm realizing people don't, because they have their kids home. And so they're trying to manage their schooling that's online now. And that's a whole new world for them. And then maybe they're actually working remotely too. And so this doesn't have to be a time consuming thing to be building. But if you're considering, how can I bring in more money right now? Or how can I pivot to build something so that I'm not so dependent on my employer's paycheck? This is an amazing time to be building something online. Yes. Amazing time. And there's a lot of resources that Ryan and I have put together in that group, that Facebook group. But
you guys don't have to remember what we just said there. Just go to streamsofincomeradio.com. The link will be in the show notes. This is episode number 35.
Wow.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Jenni, thank you so much. I know we could go hours and hours and hours on this stuff, and we kind of don't go hours and hours in our group either, but we have longer webinars in there. We have multiple long webinars in there. Lots of content, but it's fun. We love serving in that way.
Mhm.
Thanks again for being on with me. I don't think you're going to be the guest on the next one.
Okay. Well, it's always fun. I appreciate the invite and him available.
Love it. You add a lot of value. That's why I keep having you on. I appreciate it. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Remember, you can go to streamsofinkomeradio.com, get all the show notes, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.